What if the reason you keep waking up tired is not your mornings, but the way you end your nights? Most people focus on what they do after they wake up. They want a better alarm clock, a better coffee, a better workout, a better to-do list. But the truth is, your day is often decided before your head even touches the pillow. The last hour before sleep can quietly shape how you feel, how you think, and how much energy you have tomorrow. So, for the next 30 days, imagine doing something simple enough that almost anyone could follow it, something powerful enough to actually change the way your body responds to sleep. Not some perfect routine, not some extreme new lifestyle. Just a calm, repeatable night routine that tells your body one thing very clearly. It is safe to rest now. And that is where the change begins. Because right now, a lot of people are sending their body mixed signals at night. Bright screens, random snacks, stressful thoughts, endless scrolling, loud content, irregular sleep times. The body never really gets a clean message. It stays alert when it should be slowing down. It gets tired but not deeply rested. It sleeps, but not in a way that feels refreshing. That is why so many people wake up like they never slept at all. But when you start fixing your night routine, something interesting happens. At first, it feels small, almost too small to matter. You dim the lights a little earlier. You stop staring at your phone right up until bed. You give yourself a few quiet minutes before sleep. It does not look dramatic, and it does not feel like a life transformation on day one. But your body notices. Your brain is always looking for patterns. If every night ends with noise and stimulation, that becomes the pattern. If every night ends with calm and consistency, that becomes the pattern too. And over time, your body starts learning when it is supposed to switch off. That is why the first few nights matter so much. They are not about perfection. They are about sending a signal that the day is done, a signal that the racing thoughts do not need to keep running, a signal that tomorrow can wait. When that signal becomes familiar, your system starts relaxing earlier. And when your system relaxes earlier, sleep often becomes easier to enter and easier to stay in. A lot of people think sleep is only about how many hours they get, but the quality of those hours matters just as much. You can lie in bed for a long time and still wake up drained if your body never really settled down properly. That is why the night routine is so powerful. It helps create the conditions for real rest, not just more time spent under the blanket. And once that begins to improve, the effects do not stay hidden for long. Some people start noticing that it is a little easier to fall asleep without fighting their thoughts. Others notice they are waking up less during the night. Some just feel less wired before bed. And even if the change seems small at first, small changes can stack fast when they happen every single night. That is the real secret here. The body loves rhythm. It likes when sleep, light, food, and stress follow a pattern it can predict. When that rhythm is broken every night, the body stays confused. But when the rhythm is restored, the body starts doing what it was built to do. It begins settling down, recovering, resetting. And by the end of the first week, that can change how the next morning feels. Because a better night does not just affect the night itself. It changes the whole tone of the next day. You wake up with less friction, less grogginess, less of that heavy feeling that makes everything seem harder than it should be. You do not suddenly become a different person, but you may notice you are less at war with the morning. That matters more than most people realize. Because when mornings feel brutal, everything feels harder. Getting out of bed feels harder, focusing feels harder, making good decisions feels harder. Even simple tasks can feel heavier when your body has not truly recovered. So when the night routine improves, the morning often improves with it. And that is where the motivation trap starts to break down. A lot of people keep telling themselves they need more discipline, more willpower, more self-control. But sometimes what they really need is a better system, a calmer night, a clearer bedtime, a routine that does not keep dragging the brain into stimulation when it should be winding down. Because you cannot expect deep rest from a chaotic ending. If every night is random, your body never knows what comes next. But when the sequence becomes familiar, the body starts anticipating sleep in a good way. That anticipation matters. It lowers resistance and reduces the mental fight. It makes bedtime feel less like a battle and more like a transition. And that is exactly what sleep should be. A transition, not a crash, not a collapse, not the point where your mind finally gives up from exhaustion. A real transition from alertness into restoration. That is why the first few days of a better routine may feel subtle, but they are actually laying the foundation for everything else. Better sleep does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it shows up as a slightly calmer evening, a slightly easier wake-up, a slightly more stable mood, a little more patience, a little less fog, and those small shifts are easy to miss unless you are paying attention. That is why so many people give up too early. They expect a huge transformation after one night, but the body usually changes in layers, not fireworks. First, it notices consistency. Then, it starts to trust the routine. Then, it begins to respond more predictably. And once that happens, the benefits can start building faster than people expect. So if you have ever felt stuck in the cycle of tired nights and tired mornings, this is where the reset begins. Not by forcing yourself to do everything perfectly, not by becoming someone else overnight, just by creating a calmer ending to the day and repeating it long enough for your body to believe it. Because when your body starts believing your nights are safe, your sleep changes. And when your sleep changes, your energy changes. Your focus changes. Your mood changes. Even your cravings and your patience can start to feel different. That is why the next part of this 30-day shift matters so much. Because the first changes are only the beginning, and what happens after that is where the real transformation starts to show up. By the time you move into the second and third week of fixing your night routine, something deeper starts to happen. It is no longer just about falling asleep a little faster or waking up slightly less tired. Your body begins to trust the pattern you have been repeating. And when the body trusts a pattern, it stops resisting it. That resistance is what makes nights feel difficult in the first place. The tossing, the turning, the urge to check your phone one more time, the feeling that your mind is still racing even though your body is tired. A lot of that comes from inconsistency. From giving your brain mixed signals about whether it should stay alert or shut down. But now, after repeating a calmer night routine for days in a row, your brain starts recognizing the sequence. The lights dim. The stimulation drops. The pace slows, the same small actions happen in the same order. And your body begins to respond before you even think about it. You start feeling sleepy earlier without forcing it. And that is a powerful shift, because instead of chasing sleep, sleep starts meeting you halfway. Around this stage, many people notice that their evenings feel different, not empty, not boring, just quieter in a way that feels more natural. The constant need for stimulation begins to fade slightly. You are not as pulled toward endless scrolling or random distractions. It is not that those habits disappear overnight, but their grip starts to loosen. And that creates space. Space for your mind to slow down. Space for your body to relax. Space for your thoughts to settle instead of stacking on top of each other. That space is where real recovery begins, because your body does most of its repair work when you are deeply at rest. Muscles recover. Hormones rebalance. The brain clears out mental clutter from the day. Memory gets organized. Energy systems reset, but all of that depends on the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity. And quality improves when your nights become more predictable. By the third week, another noticeable shift can start showing up during the day. Your energy becomes more stable. Instead of sharp highs followed by sudden crashes, things feel more even. You may not feel extremely energized all the time, but you feel less drained, less dependent on quick fixes, less like you are constantly trying to catch up. That stability is what many people have been missing, because unstable sleep often leads to unstable days. You wake up tired, push through with effort, rely on stimulation to stay alert, and then crash again? It becomes a cycle that feels normal, even though it is exhausting. But when your nights improve, that cycle begins to weaken. And here is something most people do not expect. Your decision-making can start improving too. When you are well rested, your brain does not just feel better, it functions better. It handles stress more calmly. It processes information more clearly. It is less reactive and more controlled. That can show up in simple ways. You pause before reacting. You think a little more clearly before making choices. You feel slightly more in control of your actions instead of being pulled by impulses. And that matters a lot more than people think. Because many of the habits that hold people back are not just about knowledge. They are about state. They are about how the brain feels in the moment. A tired brain looks for shortcuts. It looks for comfort. It looks for relief. But a rested brain has more room to choose differently. So when your night routine improves, it is not just your sleep that changes. It is your behavior during the day. And that is where the results start compounding. Now, as you approach the final stretch toward 30 days, the biggest shift becomes even clearer. Your nights feel intentional. You are no longer just drifting into sleep whenever your body gives up. You are guiding the process. You are creating the conditions. You are repeating a rhythm that your body understands. That sense of control is important because it replaces chaos with structure. It turns something unpredictable into something reliable. And reliability is what builds confidence. When you know that your night routine supports your sleep, you stop dreading bedtime. You stop guessing how you will feel the next day. You begin to trust the process, and that trust changes your mindset. Instead of thinking, "I hope I sleep well tonight," you start thinking, "I've set myself up to sleep well." That difference may sound small, but it is powerful. Because it shifts you from reacting to your life to shaping it. By day 30, the transformation is not about one dramatic moment. It is about everything feeling a little more aligned. Your body knows when it is time to slow down. Your mind does not fight sleep as much. Your mornings feel more manageable. Your energy feels more consistent. You are not perfect. No one is. There will still be nights that are off. Days that feel harder. Moments where your routine slips. But the difference now is that you have a baseline, a rhythm you can return to. And that is what makes the change sustainable. Because real transformation is not about doing everything right once. It is about building something you can repeat even when life is not perfect. That is what a night routine gives you. A simple, repeatable way to reset your body every single day. And once you experience what that feels like, it becomes hard to go back to constant chaos at night because you start noticing the difference immediately. You notice how much harder it is to wake up after a restless night. You notice how scattered your thoughts feel without proper rest. You notice how quickly your energy drops when your sleep is off. And that awareness keeps you anchored to the routine. Not because you are forcing yourself, but because you understand the cost of not doing it. That is when the habit becomes part of you. Not a task, not a challenge. Not something you have to think about constantly, just something you do because it supports the way you want to feel. And that is the real goal. Not perfection, not extreme discipline. Just a better system that works with your body instead of against it. So if you have made it this far, here's the simplest way to think about everything you have just heard. Your nights are not just the end of your day. They are the beginning of your next one. Every choice you make before bed is either helping your body recover or making it harder for your body to do its job. And when you start choosing recovery more consistently, everything begins to shift. Your sleep becomes deeper. Your mornings become lighter. Your energy becomes steadier. Your mind becomes clearer. Not all at once, but steadily, night after night. That is the power of 30 days. Not because 30 is a magic number, but because it is long enough for your body to recognize a pattern, trust it, and start responding in a meaningful way. So tonight, do not overcomplicate it. You do not need a perfect routine. You just need a clear signal. Slow things down, reduce the noise, step away from the constant stimulation, give your body a chance to transition into rest, and then repeat it tomorrow. Because when you fix your nights, you do not just improve your sleep. You change the way your body shows up for your entire life. Thanks for watching True Health Tales. If this helped you, smash that like button. Subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the next truth.